Hey everybody, it's Dr. Winnie, and I'm here with my next episode of Sunday Dinner. Actually, this time it's Saturday and Sunday dinner because I decided yesterday that I wanted to make a deep dish pizza. You know, those really, really thick, deep ones. Back when I lived in Orlando, I used to go to Giordano's pizza parlor, and they would make these incredible, like 2 and 3 inch thick pizzas, and I decided that I wanted to do that. So yesterday, I just worked on my pizza dough, making sure that it was heavily seasoned. I didn't want to have just plain dough. And then after that, I put it in a spring-form pan and just let it sit in there for a minute. Then I started layering. I layered with mozzarella cheese, with tomato sauce, with hot Italian sausage that I had pre-cooked, mushrooms, olives, pepperoni, more mozzarella, more tomato sauce, mushrooms, sausage, pepperoni, olives, topped with mozzarella, and then I repeated it again. So it was 3 layers deep, and then on top of that, I put some additional sauce, some more sausages, and some Parmesan cheese on the very top. And then I put that in the oven, right there in the springform pan, and let that cook for about 40 minutes, and voila! We came out with something that really, really looks delicious. And I took that over to my parents' house yesterday, and we all chowed down on it. And I'm telling you, it started out looking beautiful, then it was going, and then gone. So there was literally nothing left afterwards because it was so delicious, so flavorful. Even my brother-in-law, who's from New York and who is very, very particular about his pizzas and other things from delis, even said that it was really good. And I agree, it was quite tasty. So that was Saturday dinner. Now, let's get on to Sunday dinner. So I wanted to do something totally different. So I decided to make tortellini with cheese and sausage and shrimp. Anytime I can make shrimp, my mom's happy because she absolutely loves shrimp. So it started out with me cooking my bacon in a Dutch oven and then cooking the sausage that I had sliced up. This was an andouille sausage. And then cooking the shrimp. And I actually took the opportunity to cook some mushrooms in there as well. But the mushrooms were used for something else a little later on. Then I took all of that out and I put in some butter and some garlic and let that cook until the garlic got fragrant. And then I added some chicken broth and some heavy whipping cream. And I'm making my Alfredo sauce, and just stirring it up, then adding some Parmesan cheese. I added almost 2 cups of Parmesan to make it nice and thick. And then I put everything back in it along with some spinach and just let it sort of kind of thicken over time, and it was fabulous. Then for a side dish, I decided to cook some green beans. I had them in the refrigerator and I didn't want them to go bad, so I went ahead and took those out and stir-fried them in some olive oil with some bacon, that bacon that I had earlier, and then also I put those mushrooms in there with some garlic powder and onion powder, and they came out great. So that's what I took over to my parents' house. And then for dessert, we had some cheesecake because I had actually made some cheesecake a couple days ago and there was still some left over, and I had the strawberry sauce that I put on top. So that was Sunday dinner, and everybody truly enjoyed it. So let me just take a moment and just speak very briefly today about 2026 and medical moments with me. I really want to focus just briefly today on something that I think will be a recurring theme throughout the year, Lord willing, that I will be doing this. And by the way, Happy New Year to all of you. I'm so grateful that you're here. Praise God. We made it to another year to be in His service. And so now it's a matter of doing what we are called to do. And that means taking accountability, taking responsibility for the choices that we make in life. Earlier today, I watched my show, Winnie Living Life Together on Fox Soul. It airs at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time on Fox Soul. Easy to find. Just go to foxsoul.tv and it'll pop right up. But this show was about 2 guys, 2 very, very special men who had served time in prison for different things, but they're now out living their lives. One is a mentor, and he actually was a mentor to the second guest on the show. And they talked about what it was like to go to prison, what they did when they were there to get their mind in a better place so that they would not reoffend when they came out. And that's the big thing. Once you're in, we don't want you to go back in. And so they talked about that, talked about the things that they felt were missing in their lives that could have maybe turned things slightly different. But at the end of the day, what they talked about was something called accountability. And this is so important because you can't really change anything in life until you take responsibility for the choices that you've made. And this is where really being honest with yourself about your choices, your moves, is going to really be the beginning of getting you in a much better place. And so, I see that with my patients all the time. I don't know why I gained 5 pounds, and it couldn't be those donuts and, all of the lack of exercise and the high-fat foods that you've been eating, lack of exercise, or non-compliance with your medications, your blood pressure sky high and you're not taking your medications. There's some things that we need to really, really be honest with ourselves about in order to make a change. As long as you're lying to yourself and just doing what you do and then just throwing your hands up in the air like, I don't know how this happened, you're never going to get better. And at the end of the day, that's what we all want to do, is to be better versions of ourselves. And the first step in that is taking accountability for the choices we make. So when you're getting ready to light up that cigarette, think about what that's going to do to your body, to your lungs, to your blood vessel. When you're eating foods in excess that are not good for you, what is that going to do? And I'll share a lot of that this year about what kinds of foods do certain things to you. There's really no such thing as bad foods. It's really all about moderation, and then putting healthy foods in your system as well, and understanding the impact of foods on your body. But it's all about educating yourself and taking responsibility for the choices that you make. Whether you're in prison or you're on the outside, it doesn't matter. Your life is a reflection of the choices that you've made. Period. And so making wiser choices is going to give you a much better outcome, a better life, better joy, better success, better prosperity, better happiness, all of those things that we all covet so much. So anyway, that's my message for today. I want you all to start thinking about being accountable, what it is that you're doing right now that you are not accountable for, that you think is probably getting you in trouble. And we'll go through ways over the coming months of how we can all be more accountable and make wiser life choices. Okay? So Dr. Hat off, and I wish you all the very best. I hope all of you are well. Drive safely, be careful, take your medications, get lots of rest, drive safely, and I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.